we're going to do an interview. We're going to put it on the internet and keyword it so that everyone can find you and learn from everything. So, Jordan and George, right? Right. Okay, so from this morning, so forgive me all the names. My name's Rochelle. Nice to meet you too. You guys did excellent today. Okay, so we'll be looking right over here. Chelsea, let me know when you're rolling.
I'm rolling.
Oh, you're rolling? Hello! We're back again at the OC Business Summit. I'm here with Jordan and George. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Doing great.
Thank you. They were on a panel earlier this morning, and these two, along with two women, did a phenomenal job. Guys, for people that were not here and didn't get to see the panel or hear the interview before, can you give them a little bit gist or an aha moment that you shared with this audience of almost 2,000 people here today?
Yeah, we had some unbelievable speakers here. One of them was Michael Gerber, author of The E-Myth, who I've never had the chance to hear speak before. He spoke about, looking at your small business as a prototype for something much bigger, and constantly looking at the idea of scalability and making it bigger.
But I want to nugget from what you said.
Oh, from what I
from
said?
Your panel,
I thought you wanted
this is about you.
About me. Wow. So you want to know what?
Well, the topic of fear came up
a
lot. You have a room full of entrepreneurs, and fear grips everyone. And I think it was a nice moment when everyone kind of shared that and got it off their chest. And then our producer right before from Shark Tank and Survivor, that came up for him too. A man who's produced so much. So let's go back to some of those comments earlier today about addressing fear, overcoming it.
Yeah, I think it's all about the mindset that you have. Mindset is one of I think it's 90% of everything. And for me, it means looking at fear as an opportunity to come through the other side and seeing what's in store, and looking at it and just kind of getting excited, but overcoming it, because knowing on the other side of the fear is success. I think outside of the comfort zone is where success lies. So.
One of the keys to how are you? One of the keys to overcoming the fear of failure is simply to redefine failure. Okay, failure is not failing to attempt to reach your goal. Failure is not setting a goal. Failure is not attempting and not getting there. Failure is not even making the effort. And so the key thing is, if what you're doing is ultimately a good thing, and you're doing it in love, the Bible says love never fails, so you're not a failure even if you don't reach your goal. I remember when the church was 6 months old, we had decided to hit a high attendance day. And so I had everybody say, okay, everybody bow your head, and we're going to pick a goal just out of the air. How many people should we have on the 6-month anniversary of our church? Now, at that time we had about 150 people coming. So I said, okay, anybody think we should have 175? Nobody raised their hand. 200? Nobody raised their hand. 300? Nobody raised their hand. 400? Nobody raised their hand. I'm starting to get nervous now. 450? Nobody's raising their hand. 500? Everybody raises their hand. So I said, pick your head up. I said, okay. So I write on the blackboard, I said, 500. That's our goal to have 500 people in church as a 6-month-old church. And I went home scared to death. And I started talking to God. I go, God, this is a terrible idea. You got me into this. Let me tell you what's going to happen. And I'm like complaining. I'm saying, we're going to really work real hard. Nobody's ever had 500 people at a 6-month-old church. We're going to really try our best, and then it's not going to work, and everybody will have set this big goal, and we didn't reach it, and we all failed. And I just kind of felt this little thought go through my mind. Warren, you need to go read your own books. Like, redefine failure as not even trying. And so I went back and I said, you guys, you're already a success, whether we get 500 people or not, because you're going to attempt something no church has ever done before. Try to have 500 people and then not even be a year-old church. You're already a success, because you're trying to do something great. You're trying to do something big.
So what happened?
Well, we went out. We actually did mail-outs, and we did a big day. We did we called it, I just made up a holiday. We called it Saddleback Valley Day. We said we're going to honor the #1 realtor in the Saddleback Valley, the #1 community servant in the Saddleback Valley, the #1 teacher, and the #1 businessman. And we just found people, we brought them in, gave them an award, and honored the people. But we didn't have 500. But we had 360. Now, do you think we would have had 360 people if we hadn't set a goal? Of course not.
No way.
So even you aim for the moon, even if you hit the fence post. Okay? And what happens is let me give you an example of the very first service of the church. I had about 15 people, which is less right here, meeting with me in my home, and we said, we're going to start a church on Easter Sunday, 1980, because if anybody goes to church, the one Sunday here they're going to go is Easter. So we may not have a crowd after that, but we'll just see what happens. So we set a goal of 150 people at our first service. Okay. Then 15 of us, we went out, we hand-addressed and hand-stamped 15,000 direct mail letters.
Oh my gosh.
Hand-addressed and hand-stamped, 15 of us, 1,000 people. And we mailed them out. We figured if we got a 0.5% response, we get 75 people. Okay? And if 2 people were in each family, that'd be 150. So that's how we figured 150. Okay, on Easter Sunday, 205 people showed up. Okay, so I'd never even seen these people before. I mean, I didn't know any of them. At Laguna Hills High School. And I'm going, this thing's going to work. Okay? Now, the next week, we went down to like 110. For the rest of the month, we averaged 115. He said, man, you lost 100 people. No, I gained 100. Because I had 15, then I had 205, and went back down to 115. I gained 100 people in 1 week. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's what I call the pyramiding principle of growth. And you can use this in any business, is that you have a big push, and you go up real high, and then you're going to lose some people from that. They don't, but some people will stay with you. And that's why you have special days. Disneyland does this. Knott's Berry Farm does this. Anybody who understands the importance of how you break through a barrier is fast. You don't break through it like one step at a time. You go through a sales barrier or an attendance barrier. You go through it real quick. And then when you come back down, you're just not as low as you were before.
Right.
But you got to be what you guys were all talking about. Get rid of the fear.
Let me ask you a question, Rick. I'm Todd Spitzer, County
know you,
Supervisor. I know.
I've seen you in a long time, buddy.
I just wanted to introduce myself.
Yeah.
You know, when you introduced Steve Case,
Yeah.
I'm an elected official in this
Yeah.
county, right? And you seem to hint today through your questions to Steve about something inside of you seems to be gnawing about, you compared us to the Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
What's not going on here?
Yeah.
Which is, I think, a question for people like them who are in business. What you put on this huge summit today, it was incredibly successful.
Yeah.
You even put out the teaser,
Yeah.
hey, I could do this again.
Do it again, yeah,
So
sure.
what is going on inside of you what are we missing here that's causing you this consternation?
See, I've lived in this county for 32 years. I love this county. Okay, I was 25 years old when I moved here. Okay, and so I've watched us go. We had 2 million people. We now have 3 million. Okay, 1 million habla español in our thing. When I started Saddleback Church, we were a young, yuppie, lily white church. We were all in our 20s and 30s. Now, this church speaks 67 languages. Okay, so we are a cosmopolitan church now. We speak 67 languages. We got them all around the world. And I'm going, now the world has come to Orange County. Why shouldn't we be a Silicon Valley? And I'm looking at this, I'm going, I've been here 32 years. I know the brilliance in this county. I know the intelligence. I know the smarts. They're good people. They're sharp people. They're wise people. I'm going, why Austin, Texas? Okay, you know, for a Silicon Alley. Okay, why not Orange County? And I really think it's a matter of intention. I think it's a matter, and that's why I just started throwing it out there, because how many of you think that we could create a culture and a reputation where we're working so far together, helping each other in startups, speed-ups, and scale-ups, that all of a sudden everybody wants to come here too, okay? Now, it may not be technology, but it may be a technology related to a particular area, like health, or some. I mean, we have only 6% of the world has the climate of Orange County. 6%. Okay, it's not by accident people want to move here. Okay, it's really nice most of the time, and so we got climate, we got good education, we've got a good standard of living. This place should be a job-producing capital, and it should be attracting capital. And I really think that if we could even start kind of a network, and I was talking with Amir the other day. I don't know if Amir's here.
Yeah, he was.
Amir, come on over here. Get in
He
this.
did the step and repeat.
Come on in here. Come over here. Can you move down a little bit?
Yeah, actually I'm going to let him hop in. Hey, Nicole? Where's Nicole?
Okay, now Amir's my good friend, and he's been, he started TEDx for Orange County, Orange Coast TEDx, and let me help him for a couple years, and we've been talking about two different things. One was this whole concept that Orange County doesn't have a town center as a locality. But the town, what should draw us together should be a commonality of a business culture, or a community culture, or it is a value system where we go, hey, we're all supporting each other here, and I'm going to help your corporation, and you're going to help mine, and we're going to watch each other's back, and we're going to support each other. We're going to be each other's champions and cheerleaders and stuff like that. And so he was talking about this, and so when he started TEDx and when I started this, these were just two efforts to start raising the visibility. You want to talk about that for a minute?
Yes, the goal is, well, you said it very well. I think the long story short is that when I came from San Francisco to Orange County a few years ago, I realized that this place has such a nice physical attributes. People are equally smart as anywhere else. There's something that is not working. And this energy that's conduit, this magic doesn't happen the same way. It's very transactional. People are looking at efficiency, but we don't invest into the future. We don't invest into equity. We don't think about what is that magic that's going to happen that creates huge companies like Facebook or Google here. Why this doesn't happen? So.
But how do we drive that? That's what I want to understand. We have faith-based. This started today.
Yeah.
This is a faith-based campus.
Yeah.
You're a renowned leader in this whole arena of faith-based leadership, and you're doing all these things all over. I actually come here. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it government, private sector, faith-based? Is it a partnership?
It's all.
What?
Yeah.
How, and then how do
need
we
to create
bring
a
all that
coalition.
together? How do we do that?
The goal is to create a community, and the community sense of community doesn't exist in terms of what is innovation. A community of innovation, it includes government, it does include church, it does include education, it does include students, teachers, moms at home, people out of work, it does include everybody. And how we can create a culture of participation where what we do together creates common.
So isn't the next summit, though, is it more leaders in business, or is it bringing together those different legs of the stool?
Yeah.
And there doesn't have to be three legs,
Right,
it can be
right,
four,
right,
whatever.
right.
Bringing those groups together to have that dialogue. 'Cause I don't think that dialogue has taken place.
Yeah, yeah. I think part of it, I think you're right, Todd. I think part of it is different sectors in Orange County don't know each other a lot of times. And, I mean, this is the county where Disneyland started.
It's the #1 employer in the county.
Okay,
Disneyland.
this is a Disneyland. Then you talk about the iconic brands of Quicksilver and Hurley and you know Billabong and Oakley,
right.
and I'm going, oh, wait a minute, they're not making TV shows about other counties. Okay, the O.C., Laguna Beach, Coda Wives, and you know, I mean, they're not making. I mean, some of them aren't that good, but I'm just saying. Bottom line is, this county has some kind of magic to it, and what we've got to do is we've got to get the education sector and the health sector and the business sector and the government sector and the faith sector, all these sectors together, and go, okay, how do we build an innovation culture where it's safe? I was born in San Jose. I was born in the Silicon Valley. Okay, so I know what it's like up there, but I'm going, I like it here better. Okay. But we should be doing this. Okay, we should be somehow figuring out a way. So the first thing, I think, what Amir tried to do, and I've tried to do through both TEDx and this won't be the last. I'm sure we'll probably do another one in 6 months. I know a lot of the Steve Cases and Linda Resnicks in the world, and I've spoken at Aspen. I've spoken at Davos World Economic Forum 3 times. So I know these people. I could bring them in here and say, come in. Which, by the way, they all volunteered. Not a single person was paid for this event. Everybody said, Rick, I just want to help out.
And Rick, what do these people charge when they charge for speaking engagements?
Oh, well, they're all over the map, I'm sure.
We're talking hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, I'm sure they're big speakers. But they came. I invited them here, and they came in. And really, there were 2 goals. One, I knew that having these speakers would bring people here, but I intentionally put people at tables. You noticed, so that they were forced to interact rather than sit in rows at the back of the heads. Because as much as I was interested in the content, I was interested in, we've got to get people to get to know each other in Southern California, the connections, because it's all about relationships. Mark Burnett is a dear friend of mine. And he said it many times. He said, Rick, everything I've done in life is through relationships. 100% is done through relationships. So it's really about who you get to know and building friendships, and like me and Amir and stuff like that. So he's my best bud. Yeah.
My best bud.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. We actually have OC Metro here, so we're going to toss the interview over to Nicole.
Right.
Amir, do you want to have her squeeze in right next to you? Maybe
Sure.
I can have Rick squeeze over.
All right, here we go.
And then we promise we will get to you.
Yeah.
So right on in here,
Amir.
Nicole. All right. And then we're just going to keep rolling, but we'll go ahead and edit later so everyone
Okay.
can get more of these good juicy nuggets. So go ahead, Nicole.
All right.
Everybody should follow Rochelle on Twitter.
Oh, she's already got like 20,000 million followers.
So, can you go back to the two goals? One was to interact, and you had people sitting at the
Yeah,
table.
one was the content goal of, I really am concerned that, you know, we've been sluggish for 5 years in the economy nationally. And, of course, Orange County, with a lot of our economy being built on home building, and home buildings fell out, stuff like that. That was a big deal. As I said, at one point, 2 years ago, I took a survey. 11% of my church was out of work. Okay, and this was across the board from, you know, the regular low-paying job to CEOs and things like that. So I just said, the only way we're going to get out of this is we've got to create a new economy. You don't wait for government or anybody else to turn it around. You create a new economy, and entrepreneurs are the drivers of that. The small business are the drivers of that. That's the important thing. As I said when I first started off, we're now $16 trillion in debt as a nation. Our GDP this last year was $15 trillion. Our debt is greater than our gross national product. We could tax everybody 100% and it wouldn't end the debt. The only way is to grow us out of it through new business. So that was one thing. Let's just start the spark rolling. And then the other one is we got to get people to meet each other, particularly in Orange County. People talk in different sectors, different segments, and things like that. We have one of the few buildings that's large enough to hold something like this. So we said, let's just do it. And I was very happy that, thanks everybody for showing up. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
And for Saddleback hosting it, I mean, you've managed to bridge that gap between religion and that setup to business. And hosting it here with your God at Work series, it all ties in. But how do you think you can further kind of?
Well, I think what Todd was talking about earlier, the next step might be a series of smaller meetings to talk about people who. I was serious when I said, how many of you would help with this? How many of you would help with this if we said, let's figure out a way to create an innovation culture? Okay. Later on, I want Amir to talk about, you know, he's got this new idea for what he calls innovation stations. And he's partnering with Chapman University on this. And it's a new...
UCI.
And UCI. Yeah, and Saddleback too, exactly.
And the County of Orange.
And the County of Orange, there we go. Any others? Yes, I see that hand. God bless you. Are there others? Yes. Thousands are signing up right now. But the idea is basically to create incubators where people can say, okay, what do I need to put a team around me? You kept hearing this word team all day today. What do I do to put a team around me? Because an idea is not good enough. An idea will not make you money. An idea with a team and a system will make you money. That's why I had Michael Gerber here to talk about systems. Because it's the system that made McDonald's. It wasn't any individual McDonald's owner. It was a system that made it work. There is a system at Saddleback. I wrote a book on it called The Purpose-Driven Church, which, by the way, they pass out The Purpose-Driven Church to all of the Federal Reserve System as the best book on management in print. They said, ignore all the religious parts, just learn the management stuff. In fact, Forbes magazine called it the best book on management. And it's the history of this church. It's how we built the system here to go from me to 120,000 plus names on our roll. And so I think the next step is going to be some smaller meetings. We will do another one of these. We're going to continue TEDx and any other things that we can do to kind of raise the visibility, to bring people in here and go, hey, don't ignore us. I mean, we're 3 million strong here.
Can I add something to that? The real key to innovation is mentorship.
Yeah,
and you need a chain of mentorship. You never know who has the answer to a specific question at a specific time. So that person could be in government, could be a church, could be in school, could be out of a job, could be in prison. You never know who has the key to that solution to that problem. So how can you create a chain of mentorship? And that's what we're trying to do to raise the level of acuity and acuteness in searching for ideas and put those ideas into action. And what better than putting capital but also mentorship and resources? And that's something novel. So the concept of innovation stations basically like going to confessional, go somewhere, you have an idea, you want to change the world, if you really are serious about changing the world, you're committed, this is your time, someone's going to help you. And how can we create a chain of mentorship that makes this happen?
We're gonna field test this here at Saddleback. They're testing at UCI and at Chapman, creating these innovation stations where you let people come in and sit around, toss out an idea, and create a team of mentors. Great ideas. My ideas are good ideas. Your ideas are good ideas. Our ideas are great ideas. There's power, and you never want to have just one mentor. You need multiple. I've had 7 different mentors in my life because they teach you different things. I mentioned one of them was Peter Drucker. Peter Drucker taught me about leadership and management, but he didn't teach me about a lot of other stuff. Billy Graham taught me about being a statesman. You know, how do you do the prayer for Bush and Obama? You know, that kind of stuff, and different things that he taught me global stuff. Other guys have taught me different things. So you need different mentors in your life to do different things.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for all of you for joining us, and thank you for joining us at the OC Business Summit, the first ever. And it sounds like we'll see you either next year or in 6 months.
6 months. We're not going to wait a year. We won't wait a year.
Thank you.
We'll do something in the spring. Okay, guys.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
All right. God bless you all. Thanks.
Here, can you sign it?